Hi guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I know I've been away for a minute. It's for good measure. I needed to take a little break and then gather my thoughts together to make this particular video. So in today's video, I'm going to be telling you how you can score an internship position if you're in America and how I did mine. Of course, I'm going to speak based on my own personal experience and some of the mistakes that I think you should avoid, some of the mistakes that I personally made. And I feel like this video is going to be a long one because I'm going to try to detail every single thing into it. I get questions a lot of times, and I just figured, okay, it's best to just put out a video to address all these things once and for all. Also, I'm making this video because I just feel like if you're coming to a country like this, you might as well take advantage of a system that is actually built to work. Some of the details I'm going to be giving in this video are strictly for people who are moving to America because America is very like there are certain rules that are in place of things that you need to do. So I will detail them in this video as well. And then if there are any additional details that I miss, I will link or I will leave them in the comment section. Before we get into it though, please give this video a thumbs up. Please also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video. So I'm going to start from the beginning, right? When you are coming to another country to study, or let's say when you're coming to America to study, you've gotten your admission, you've done everything. And I'm going to link a video where I detailed the entire process. I'll link it here in the cards and also in the description box and in the comment section. So when you've done all those things, you've moved in, you've settled down, whatnot. Let's say you're even coming in like August or September, which is typically the beginning of school year, and you have Christmas break in December, and then the following year a new semester starts, which is spring semester, and then there's the summer holiday. Typically, if you're coming for your masters is for 2 years in a country like America, unless your program is different. But if your masters is for 2 years, that means that you have a summer period where you're not going to school and you're probably looking for what to do during the summer period, which is to work, right? Your best bet is to find a summer job and find it on time. And if you are a graduate teaching assistant, you are not working during the summer. So that means that from like, let's say May, June, July till that August period, you're not actually working until school resumes again. So you have to find something to do, okay? Most people that come from Nigeria to this place, a lot of them already have working experience, maybe for like 1 or 2 years, and they usually detail that in their CVs and whatnot. So the first thing you want to do is to arrange your CV. Dust it out from wherever you kept it. Look for CV templates online. If I find one, I will link it in the description box as well. Put the relevant details, put your work experiences. Let your CV represent the role that you're actually looking for. That's the first thing you want to think about doing before you even start applying to jobs, because like they use all these systems to screen through your applications, some of them, not all. And you want to think about the fact that your own CV has to be really, really good. And also because you're an international student, you kind of have to work twice as hard. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible. Even if you worked in your mom's shop for like 3 months, add it there. But you have to put it down in a very professional way so that it actually looks like you know what you're doing, because you have to at least look like you know what you're doing. The next thing you want to do is to start applying early. So I recently got an internship position in another city. It's not where I stay. I will talk about that later in this video. But the main thing is that you want to start applying really, really early. So for me now, my school summer starts from like May, because school closes in May. And I got this job last year, what, November, I think November or December. Yeah, November. I think I was in November. That means I started applying like late October till early November, and then late in November I actually got the job. I know it sounds very too good to be true-ish, but I did so many job applications. I got so many rejections. So in the process of you applying, if you're getting rejected, don't be deterred, because it's normal. It happens to everybody. You want to apply up to 6 months in advance, because internship slots here in America during summer, they fill up very quickly, especially from like January, February. And that January, February period it's like rush hour, because everybody's looking to get hired. So your rejections is better for you to start getting rejections early than to start getting them late. You have to do and not just one application per day. do like up to 10, at least 10 applications a day. Yeah, I know it's a lot. I know it sounds unrealistic, but that was what I was doing. One application a day is not enough because you need as many opportunities as you can get. So yeah, start applying in advance. So in addition to that, I'll also say that I mainly used LinkedIn and Indeed. I think I actually got this job from Indeed. I saw it on Indeed. I'm not sure. But there are so many job sites, like so many that you can apply for. So you want to also think about using those ones to your advantage. Another thing that you should do if you're looking to score internship opportunities is to go for career fair. I don't know how it works in other countries, but in America, they usually organize something called career fair, and they usually have two career fairs in a year. So they have one for fall semester, which is from that August to December period, and then they have one in spring semester, which is from January to like May or June. So take advantage of those things. Some people say that they go for career fairs and then like they don't actually get anything. It happens, but it's still good to go because it's a way for you to know what employers are actually expecting. So if you go for career fair, let's say in that fall semester period, you're likely to already find opportunities in advance for summer next year. Like for instance, when I was doing interviews for the job I got, right, I told them that, oh, I'm looking to be an intern, I'm an international student, and this and this and this. So I'm looking to actually start in May 2024. This was in November 2023, what I was telling them. So you have to be very upfront and intentional about what you're going to tell your potential employers, because some of them come to schools to actually look for interns, and most internships are paid. I guess it would depend on the state that you're in, because in my state I think it's illegal for you to not pay interns. Like it has to be, any intern that is working with you has to be paid. So that's that. So you want to take advantage of all these things. Career fairs, go for all of them, print your CV. Usually during career fairs, the employers that are there will ask you for your CV, right? And they want to see what you're about. They want to know your experiences. Luckily for Nigerians who make up, like, let's say 90% of my audience, we are very hardworking people. We are often very well experienced, especially in the job market. So you should use that to your advantage when you're going for those events, so that you can actually say, okay, this is my CV, and then you to also get a lot of their flyers, because you want to keep applying on their websites even after you've encountered them at your school. So another way that you can try to get an internship is by speaking to professors on campus, professors that are in your department. And I'm saying departments because usually in America, right, when you are doing these internship things as an international student, there's something that you apply for called CPT, curricular program training, CPT something something training. I'll leave the full acronym on the screen. So you have to apply for CPT. Luckily, you don't have to pay anything. It's just a couple of steps. You have to email your international advisor, and then they tell you how to go about applying for CPT, which you should do very early, like as early as possible, before summer actually comes. Usually people apply for CPT in the spring semester. So keep that in mind. So just think of CPT as your internship, and whatever you're doing for your internship has to be related to the degree that you're getting. So let's say if you're studying engineering or something, you want to apply to engineering firms, and whatever your roles and responsibilities are in that firm, if you are hired as an intern, it has to directly relate to what you're studying in school. So please keep that in mind, because by the time you're filling out your CPT form, they will show you those details and say this thing has to be related to what you're doing in school. So again, speak to your professors and ask them if they have opportunities. And remember that you want to do this thing like 6 months ahead of time. As an international student, you have to work twice as hard and twice as smart, so that the outcome actually favors you and favors you on time. So that's that. Speak to your professors. Usually they may know one or two persons, and they are usually nice enough to help you, to connect you with somebody. You just don't know where your opportunity can come from. So speak to people who are in your department, and then they could connect you with potential opportunities. So the next thing is to start applying for jobs, and I already talked about how you can apply for all those ones. So if you're getting interviews, I want to move to how you can actually ace your interviews. And even if you don't ace them, some of them are actually experiences. You can learn from your mistakes and use those learnings, apply those learnings in your next interview, which might actually help you to get the job that you're looking for. In your interview, right, usually they will call a panel of people and they try to talk to you. I think I mentioned this thing in one of my former videos when I said that think of interviews as you just having conversations with them. Don't be so robotic. Don't be trying to, how do I say this thing now? Don't do like this kind of excessive display of knowledge unless you absolutely have to, because I know you're fighting for a position and you're in competition with other people. In as much as you want to prove that okay, you know what you're doing, you also have to have a very humble approach, because as an intern, you're not going there to tell them that okay, I'm going to boss you guys around because I have more experience than you. Even if you actually do have more experience, you don't want to come off as cocky. Does that make sense? You actually want to come off as okay, I'm new in this country, I want to gain some work experience in a different environment, I want to learn what it's like to work with different people, you know. Come from an approach of okay, I'm here to learn, even if you're actually going there to work, because you're going to work like a regular staff, but you don't want to come off as cocky so that they don't look at you as a know-it-all. Because remember, you're trying to be an intern. An intern is like, I'm sorry to say this, but at the bottom of the food chain in the corporate space. So you don't want to go there and be doing I too sabi or I too know. Talk about your experiences, talk about what you've learned and how you wish to apply them in the place that you're applying to. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is the fact that you have to speak very clearly, okay? And by speaking clearly, I always say this, like, speaking clearly does not mean that you have to fake an accent. Maybe you might have to speak slower for people to understand you more, but that doesn't mean that you have to start doing spray when you're talking. I made a whole video on how to learn how to speak clearly, so I'm not going to get into much of that in this video. But you're basically talking to strangers who have never met you before, so you want to be on your best behavior and actually speak properly. Don't form, because I feel like when you form, people can actually see right through it, and it may kind of put them off. Another thing that might put people off is if you're coming off as arrogant. There's a thin line between trying to sell yourself and trying to be very arrogant. So you don't want to go there with a mentality that is very boastful, and then maybe at the end of the day you're not actually able to meet up with your responsibilities. It's going to look really bad on you. So like I said, go there with a very humble approach. They will ask you about your previous work experiences. They will ask you about your challenges that you faced, how you overcame them, all those things. Now, when you go for interviews, that's not the place to be bad mouthing the other companies that you worked at. It doesn't make you look good. You get, like, because an interviewer is going to say, okay, if you're so comfortable speaking or talking smack about a place that you worked at that was actually paying you salary, what is the guarantee that you're not going to do the same thing here? And what's the guarantee that you're not going to be a problematic employee? So whenever they talk about, or whenever they ask you for the challenges that you faced, that's not the time to start saying, oh, my former boss, he was very wicked, he didn't used to pay us overtime, they didn't used to give us food in the office, they didn't used to buy baby wipes for me. Like, all those petty things, no matter the grudge that you're holding with your former employers, drop it in the bin, okay? You're coming to present yourself as a professional who can actually handle conflict in the workplace, because, like it or not, conflict is one of those things that you have to handle. You have to deal with people that you don't like. You have challenges, and they're going to ask you how you navigate those challenges. So what, your emotional intelligence has to be high up there. That's not the place to start saying, I hated this company. Even if you hated it with all your strength and all your might, find something good to say and say, okay, when I was working at this place, I had so many good experiences with people because this person taught me how to do this person taught me how to do that. Or of course there were people that me and the person did not get along, but I found a way to manage the situation because our work was more important than any personal friction we had between ourselves. Does that make sense? So don't go there and try to start making people look bad, because then it makes you look bad. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is the fact that they will ask you about your skills. As I'll use myself as an example, I'm studying technical communication, which is very much in the UI UX writing field. So they ask if I'm able to interact with all these design softwares, like let's say InDesign, Figma, Canva, the entire Microsoft package. Like, they ask you about your skills. So don't go and lie about something that you're not proficient in. If you have little experience with using some particular softwares that are peculiar to your field of work, then you can say, okay, I have some experience with this software. I'm not very proficient, but that's why I'm also applying for this role, because I'm looking to gain more knowledge in that field. So remember, you're pitching to them that, look, I love your company, I want to learn from you, I know that you guys have so much to offer. Does that make sense? Finally, you also want to do your research about the company. You don't want to go there just blindly into an interview and you don't actually know about where you're applying to. You want to know about their goals, their achievements, things that they've done in the past, even other companies that they've worked for. And if they ask you, "Oh, why do you want to work with us?" I know that question pisses off a lot of people, but I'm sorry, you have to be prepared to answer. Why do you want to work with us? Oh, okay, I saw that you guys completed this project in 2015 and it's something I'm interested in and I want to learn more about it. You're basically singing praises to their ears. And I'm not saying you should go there and be kissing anybody's ass, but you should understand the difference. So these are just tips that I personally followed. You can obviously Google and then learn more about how to actually scale an interview if you're very nervous about it. You have good reason to be nervous, but don't let that overwhelm you, because see, your eyes are supposed to be on the prize, right? Eyes on the prize. What's the prize? First of all, the experience. Second of all, the knowledge. Third of all, the money. That's what should be your motivator. Don't be thinking about, oh my god, I'm so shy. Nobody cares if you're shy. Okay, are you ready to do the work or not? And I know that sounds very like hard to say, or very should I say emotionless, but it's just what it is. And usually the interviewers are very pleasant, they're usually very nice, they're polite, they will speak with you and all that. You can do all these things and still get rejections. I have to be very honest with you. I got so many rejections. Even there was a job I interviewed for after I got this particular role, and I was really looking forward to it because it looked like it would be so interesting. And I got rejected, and I didn't even like how they handled the rejection because it just felt like they sent like a mass email, and emails like that they're very disappointing because it's like there's no life to it, there's no soul to it. You're relaying bad news to somebody. You might as well come at it from a very empathetic angle, if that makes sense, but that's just my personal opinion. So you might have that experience as well. You might have a very good time in your interview like I did, and then they will still reject you. It's really heartbreaking, but it's part of life. And you can't be deterred. Don't be deterred because your eyes are on the prize, remember. So I hope I've been able to put everything into context for you. Okay, so yeah, I said I was going to talk about something at the end of this video. So the job I got, right, it's in another city. The city is like, I think, an hour and 30 minutes away from where I currently stay. And the reason why that job is there is because in this place where I stay, it's not a lot of companies in quotes here, because it's a very small town. I don't think, are we even up to 100,000 in this town? I don't think so. If you are applying to, if you're, in fact, if you're coming here, look for places that are like established cities, so that when you're job hunting, you don't actually have to move all the way to another city to get a job like I'm doing, because that's really stressful. I can't tell you how stressful it is. I'll talk about that in another video. It's really, really stressful. So you don't want to go through that. Like a lot of people drive here, especially in small towns. So if you don't have that opportunity to move around like that, don't get yourself into that trouble in the first place. So whenever you're applying to schools, try to look for places that are actually good cities where a lot of students are. It's for your own good. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to also subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post a new video.